Hi everybody, God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in to StrongerMan.com and all the other cool places you might have found us. I am here with my boy, Mike the Machine Bruce, and we're going to do a quick interview with him, talk about a few things, hang out, and it's been a very cool time. As you know, I'm touring right now, and I've been able to hang out with Mike, spend a couple of days, which is really, really cool blessing to get to hang out with one of my really best buddies in the world, and you know, see some training and some of the awesome stuff that he's been able to do. So, if you guys don't know Mike, and I don't know how you wouldn't know Mike, because everybody knows Mike. In fact, we're walking around Somerset, Kentucky here, and like people are just walking up, and oh, you're the Mike the Machine. You're so cool. You're a rock star. Can I have your autograph? But actually, people are walking up and recognize him, and it's really cool. And how would they not? If you guys haven't seen world record neck stuff just recently, man, you knocked out the 7 bars in 57 seconds.
That's the second one. The first record was done with you.
Oh yeah, with the 3 reps of seated neck lift with 300 pounds, which is ridiculous. And but I just, you know, your recent one has been 7 5/8 inch bars over the front of your throat in 57 seconds.
Yes,
that's just bizarre. Tell me. Well, you know, tell everybody here kind of how that came about, and also what you do to train for that. Because I mean, not like anybody's going to duplicate it, but I mean, tell me what you do to train for that. Tell everybody here.
Well, what I did first was the neck was always my main thing that I wanted to train and work on, because as a little boy, as some of you that don't know my background, I came from a real troubled, horrible childhood, and I always looked down at my feet all the time, and I could never look a man in the eye. And I think looking a man in the eye is the best way of showing your confidence, as well as paying respect. I could never do that because I was insecure. So, with being a wrestler at a young age, I also learned the importance that you got to protect your neck. My thought process though was, if I built my neck up enough where I wouldn't be able to look down anymore, because that's a sign of weakness. I don't want to be weak. So that's why I always worked my neck since I was 13, and now I'm 38. So after I met Bud in about 02, 03. And around 07 when he first gave me my start. You personally gave me my start in the strongman world, performing strongman. So I believe, after watching everybody such as Bud and Dennis and some of the other guys in the old time strongman world, you should have your own signature feat. Right. Mine was neck. There wasn't a lot of other guys doing neck stuff. Those guys have been about around the back of their neck. I said, well, let me see. I'll pick someone up with my head and swing them back and forth, which I still do today. And I had this weird idea I thought I'd have. I see the guys bending across the back of the neck. I said, well, I'm a little nutty enough. I'll take it in front of my throat, along with horseshoes I stuck in my throat, and we'll do it that way. That's how I got started. Now to train that, and to back up, that became my signature feat for 83 shows, was across the front of my throat. To train that is very difficult and hard, because you can't really build up muscle around here. So all I kept doing at the time was I would do a lot of neck curls to build up the outside of my neck, and then I would take almost like isometrics. I would start off with taking, I had a Kali stick, and we take that stick, and I'd lay on the ground at first, and I'd have one of my buddies either get on my chest and push it like they're trying to choke me, which is what I would do, or I'd also, which I don't recommend this at all, I had a couple of guys one guy would stand on my throat with his full body weight, and he was about 230, and he'd have his hand on the power rack and put one foot on my neck and stand on me. What I was doing, my thought process was, I was building up the nerves and the ability to withstand pressure against the front of my throat.
Body hardening, basically, for this part of the neck. Well, that's pretty interesting, yeah.
That's how I started it.
Because not only with that feat, I'm watching the pictures and the video when you did it when Dave bends the bar on your throat. You have to have enough neck to just be able to keep the force there, but you also have to have hardened that area a lot, because that's really the big part of that feat, is surviving it without collapsing your windpipe.
Yeah, and it's not down here. We're not doing it. You know, people. You can see in the video, someone's actually choking me back. It's very dangerous. I've specified before the risk involved. That's why I'm not doing it anymore. Because I've built up too much scarring here, which can lead to plaque, which can flake off. Either way, there's other things you can do. It's just not something I'd recommend. There's certain things we left alone.
Don't, like I tell it, we talk about this quite a bit, and everybody who. And if you're watching this, because I'm going to ask Mike some other more general questions, but if you're a professional performing strongman, don't duplicate other dudes' feats. And just purely out of a sign of respect, but also out of the fact that it doesn't do you any good. If you're not the first guy who did the feat, if the other guy is still living, you're just a copycat.
That's the
you're
thing.
Just a duplicate.
It's very,
you know, a signature feet is
it's a signature feat.
Yeah.
Bud told me this a long time ago, and Dennis Rogers, was also, I've had the blessing to have as a mentor, told me, you need to have your brand.
Right.
And that means, who are you? I'm Mike the Machine Bruce. It's not a gimmick. It's who I am in my everyday life. It's just me turned up when I do a show. Mm-hmm. But you have to have what's unique to you.
Yeah.
Bud's known for having a backlift that he does in the shows, as well as a couple other things. Dennis does his things. There's been guys in the past that have done things on their neck,
right,
but nothing to the level or the level that I have, according to those in the industry. So it's important to find your own signature feat that makes you. Because if not, all you're going to be is a carbon copy of somebody else.
Yeah, and we talk about this in our DVDs on being a performance strongman. There are stock feats. We all bend spikes and different things, but bending them in different ways. That's how it becomes a signature to you. Or bending steel bars, cool. But I don't know anybody. I've never even actually heard of anybody, even in the old time literature, who had one bent like that. Across
the horseshoe.
The horseshoe, that's got to be.
The
bar, I can see. I mean, a 5/8 inch bar is a lot of pressure, and I can see how that would be horrible. But that horseshoe, dude, that's not cool.
Yeah, horseshoe's only done 3 times. We're not doing that ever again either.
Yeah, and you've also done you have done other stuff you just never told me about. You've bent 12-inch spike, and you've done other stuff.
I've done other things. There's not too much I have never done across the front of my throat, because I am the first. That's really, and I don't mean that arrogantly. It's just when you're the first, you're the first.
And you end up being the guy who experiments and kind of sees what's possible too.
I've bent spikes across my throat. I've had, I learned this. I got this idea after watching Pat, the Human Vice. He takes a baseball bat, breaks over his head.
Right.
I've seen that done by other people. I thought we'd try to break it across my throat. Not smart, very stupid. But we broke it across the front of my throat. The same way with the bar.
Oh man.
The chance with that, I've only done it once. The problem with that is that thing splinters or breaks. Boom,
done. I
have done it though.
That's pretty horrible. Oh, I didn't know you did that.
Yes. We did it in the gym. It was interesting.
Yeah, dude. I wish. And I would say exactly the same thing. Don't ever do that again.
No, the difference with that one though is it's so flexible. You have to put, when the guy does it, you have to put his placement's in a different spot behind my shoulders than it is right with the bar.
Right. Because the bar.
I had to put his leg up higher between my shoulder blades and my neck. Because the bat would flex. So it's not too much, but there's. And I hung myself back with you, which I'm going to do that probably again, even though my wife's over there, which she probably won't let me.
Don't tell anybody again. So let's change directions and talk about normal people, because you have done one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. You guys may or may not know full-on Mike's story, but Mike, came from an extreme crazy background and overcame all that and became, honor graduate Marine and was a fighter and has done pretty much everything. But you may not know some of the original story now. I got to some of the modern part of the story that's happened in the last couple of years. I've been able to visit Mike's gym, and Mike built this from nothing, not a dime, had $200 to his name.
230.
Now he owns his own gym and owns all the equipment, 100% paid outright. Has like 60 personal clients, which is pretty crazy for one guy to handle in one place.
I'm the only one that works there.
Yeah, and he's the only guy in the selection, and have built a business literally on your own, from scratch on your own. That's pretty amazing. We're going to ask you a couple questions here. What do you think's the secret, or what's the real effort to that? What helps you get there?
To get the business going?
Yeah.
I started off in a commercial gym, and what I did was I believe the main thing you can do if you want, and this is in any business, I would think, not just the training or gym business, over-deliver to your customer. Simple. Enjoy what you do, and that will reflect to the customer. You have to over-deliver to them because they're your life source. So, granted, I'm not going to get into how I feel about all these people out there that say they're strength coaches or trainers when they haven't actually practiced what they're preaching. But my thing is, you can, as long as your rapport is perfect, you can actually get by with better rapport and having less knowledge of the training. Because when people come to me, it could be the highlight of their day. Most of them it is. So their job, they may not have the blessing like I have to be living my dream.
Right.
So they come to me and they're miserable all day, and they come. So you're not allowed to have a miserable bad day when you're in front of those people. Yeah. You're playing doctor, you're playing psychiatrist, you're playing motivator, drill instructor, all that stuff combined. So you have to over-deliver. If you over-deliver, provide great, not good service, great service, go above and beyond for those people. That's how my business kept getting better, because when I was in that commercial gym as the head trainer, I had brought in 36 paying customers. Well, they tried the company tried to nickel and dime me on money.
Right.
So I left. I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay here and stick with this, even though I drew a lot of people there, or am I going to step out of the box? I stepped out of the box and I went on my own. And how I did it, I went to a 2-car garage. I didn't get to the 3,000 square foot facility I have now. I went to a 2-car garage that I just found that someone had some old equipment in it. And it wasn't good equipment, and I rented that spot. Out of all my clients, I only could get 5 clients that could get out of their contracts from the commercial gym.
Wow.
So my first goal was small. You got to think big, but start small.
Step by step. Yeah.
So I wanted to get 12 people, like Jesus' 12 disciples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got 12, and then over time, I kept delivering great service. I've never paid a dime for advertising. It's all been word of mouth referrals from people. And then I have referral systems in place where they get rewarded, because you don't want to have money come out of your pocket. So what you do, what I do to if I'm training Bud, he's in my gym, he loves what we're doing, and his 3-month training cycle's up, but he loves it. I want to re-sign up. Okay, fine. So he pays, and then he goes and tells somebody, and they come and sign up with me. Then he gets an extra month added on. I do 3-month and a year membership. That's it. Period. Simplify. You don't want to have too many options, because then it makes people have to pick. You don't want them to have to go too many steps to get what you want.
Right.
So I make it simplified. Simple is easy. Simplicity is key. So the referral is that the more people you add, the more time you get added on to your training. So you can get training with me for practically free if you get enough people.
You keep bringing people to you.
So it's like an in-house system. If you're not from inside my gym or a member client of mine, most likely you don't get in. You have to get I have a strict admissions process. So I weed out those people I don't want in my facility.
Right. That's awesome. And I was able to hang out with some of your groups and watch the training and help a little bit here and there, and
which was awesome.
And they love you. That's the cool thing, though. You're right about delivering that. So let's talk about some of the stuff you're known for besides the world record neck stuff, which is being super strong, okay, and super fit at the same time. So what do you think's if you had to give a short, quick answer, what's the secret to being, you're basically a 700-pound deadlifter at just over 200 pounds. This is lifetime drug-free. You pull 1,500 pounds in a rack pull. I've seen you do 500-pound zerker squats and one-arm rows with crazy stuff, one-arm chins, all kind of really strong every direction. That's not including all the spike bending and horseshoes and all the killer stuff there. What's the real secret to strength? What do you think? That's a big question to drop on you and ask you for a short answer. But if you had to pick one thing that would help most people just truly get stronger, what would it be?
To get stronger?
Yeah.
Either deadlift or squat. Forget everything else. You can deadlift or squat 3 days a week if you were on a proper program that would let you enable you to do that. Don't get caught up in all this trash out there today. Do this. Everybody, people knocking different systems. If you're new and you want to get strong and just build raw power, you got to do, in my opinion, deadlift. It can be any kind of deadlift as long as it's full range of motion from the floor and standing up, or some type of a squat, whether it's back barbell squat or not so much with dumbbell squats are okay, but I think it's got to be the barbell.
Right.
Reason being is because you can handle so much more weight, and weight equals into strength.
Right.
Of course, as long as you're eating right, but deadlift and squat, one or the other, you will build power size. Those two exercises force you to use every single muscle in your body, and it also kicks up your testosterone naturally, and you'll build strength. And if you're eating a lot more calories than you're burning off, you'll build size.
So let's talk about conditioning. What's the secret to it? Because you're in that's why when we were talking to you the first time, calling you the machine, and that's how that.
Yeah, give me my name, machine. That's how. Yeah.
Because I was watching the conditioning stuff, and it's just insane. It's just over and over and over, no pauses, no nothing, or whatever. It's crazy. What's the secret to really getting in great performance shape? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to ask you in a second, getting lean, because you're ripped ridiculously most of the time. But what I mean is actually having psychotically great endurance. What's the secret?
Work ethic.
Yeah.
Don't just go through the motions and go. When I do conditioning work, I look at it like as if I was still competing in wrestling, or even in the Marine Corps. When I used to do submission wrestling before MMA became huge, back in '96 is when I first started after I got out of the military. I wasn't the most skilled guy. I was considered good at submissions, but I was always in tip-top shape. So my goal was, if I wasn't most skilled, you weren't going to overpower me in my weight class. And I don't mean that arrogantly. That was just the way my mindset was. And I was going to outwork you.
You're not going to gas me. Yeah.
I'm going to outwork you. You're never going to get me tired. And I learned all that from the Marine Corps because I was the top guy in boot camp. I was number 1, so I might not have been the fastest runner, but overall, I was the top fit, top best guy. So I wanted to make sure that I have an equal strength and conditioning across the whole body. So I'd say work ethic, and what you want to do is you want to keep pushing yourself to the point where when you get tired and you're gassed, most people will go, like, they'll bend over, or they'll put their hands on their head, which is good, get air in your lungs. But what I would do, once I reached a certain point that allowed me to do this, during my rest period, I wouldn't rest. I would do some kind of active recovery.
Right.
So let's say I'm doing a sprint work. It could be whatever you guys do. You can do punch-outs on a bag or sledgehammers or burpees, whatever. My rest period would be at 30 seconds as if it was like a real fight. And I would do jumping jacks, or I would do an ab exercise, something, and then as I get in better shape, I gradually make the rest period a harder exercise too.
Right.
So therefore, I'm building up my conditioning so good that I can go 15 minutes, 30 minutes.
No problem.
Right.
Yeah, and you use a very particular variation of a sprawl that's super sprawl. They call it ridiculously hard. And I like the idea of that, of building where you're actually doing an interval, but you're actually building up past the interval where you're actually going nonstop. Because I think people just hung up, and don't get me wrong, I do intervals sometimes, and they work cool, they work fine, and they're good for specific purposes, but they are not your true potential in being able to knock out what you can do. You don't have to stop after 30 seconds. You can go longer than that if you just condition your body and your mind and whatever to do that. And I know you've done just crazy.
Well, you know where I got the first idea for what I got the idea from to not rest during your rest period was from watching George Foreman fight. Now, granted, George Foreman, for all of you, the heavyweight boxing champion, was probably the hardest punch ever, was not known as a finesse kind of guy. But if you watched his, when he started coming back on his second career, he always stood up in the corner, he never sat down. And so what he would do by standing, now granted, I think if you're in a fight, you want to sit, but I thought of if he's standing, then it kind of messes the other guy up across the ring too, because he's sitting like, and Big George was just standing with his big telephone, sledgehammers on his fist, and he's standing looking at you, and he doesn't even look gassed. That's where I got that idea. I thought, well, heck, he's standing up. What happens if you do keep pushing through your rest period? It's only going to make you better.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to win. I always wanted to make sure I gave 100%. Which mentally sometimes we don't. We have getting whoopings even if we could have whooped the guy.
Yeah.
Because mentally sometimes it's not your day.
Yeah.
But always give 100% in conditioning, and you'll be able to go longer.
Well, and I found that out, and that was my personal experience with fighting, is that I think that's the huge mistake in fight conditioning, is I honestly think you need to over-condition for a fight. In other words, if your fight's going to be 3 5-minute rounds, you need to be able to go 3 10-minute rounds.
Yes.
In hard conditioning, nonstop, because fights are totally unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to be able to do, but if you've been in the gym and you can go twice as long, just as hard, as you're not going to gas in 5 minutes. You're not going to fall hard, and you're not going to, and that conditioning is king in fighting.
Very much. Conditioning is by far. But another thing with that, and I won't get into too much on this when I have time, is there's nothing wrong. Today everything's so not technique based. I think it's drawn up too much. Everything's all high tech. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Not everything to conditioning has to be, I've got to do this, I've got to have my protein right after I work out, I've got to eat this meal at this time, and I do this. If you look at, and I'm not saying that science today in strength and conditioning has not evolved and it's not good. It is. However, I totally believe in simplicity is key. Max effect, minimal effort. What I mean by that is look back at the champions of the past, whether it's boxing or wrestling champions. They didn't have all the stuff we have, but yet if it was a betting man, I would say most of those guys would whoop a lot of the guys we have today. And there's no way to say if they would or not. I'm just saying, don't overanalyze everything. Go to simplicity. People knock road work. Road work doesn't mean just go jog at a slow pace. Road work, when done correctly, is you're jogging at a fast pace, then you sprint, then you drop, do push-ups, then you do jumping jacks, you run, you sprint, you jump up and down, you do hills, you mix all that up. That's road work.
Right.
And a lot of old-time fighters do that. So just don't knock old school and think it's bad, but at the same time, stop overanalyzing everything and
just do the work.
Just do the work. Put the time. It doesn't matter. And find what works for you and you like it. That's the main thing. And as long as it's giving you results, you're good to go.
And there's a million ways to do it. There's a million ways, in the end, you and I are very different body types and very different types of strength. But when you analyze where we end up with as high level of strength, high level of conditioning, high level of mobility, high level of pure readiness at a lot of different things, we end up at the same place.
Exactly.
And I think all the guys I've termed, like Andrew Derniad and Matt Wachinski.
Those two guys are sick and amazing. You guys need to look both of them up. Those guys. Matt Wachinski, in my opinion, is that I've seen is the best barbell complex guy throwing. I mean, and Andrew's just
crazy.
Another guy's sick, deadlift, everything.
Yeah.
Two top-notch guys, very, very
well. And that's what I'm looking for. Is I would classify, and it sounds. I don't mean to be, self-aggrandizing to say that about myself, but I would put you three guys in a very small class of what I would term modern day superhumans. In that, you just don't see that, man. You don't see a 200-pound guy with a 700-pound deadlift and a straight hour of conditioning, or Andrew at 230 being able to do 45-degree fingertip chins and close a 7,000-pound gripper and
I got the pleasure of meeting him. I haven't met Matty in person. I've talked to Matt on the phone, and they call him the Beast, and it's definitely warranted. Those guys are both. And the thing about those guys, for all you new guys out there, watch how they talk and how they act, and watch their character, because they're all respectful and humble. They'll both put other people before them,
right.
And that's the essence of a strong man. It's not how big his arms are or how strong he or I or someone else is. It's how strong you are here and how you present yourself.
Absolutely.
If you run your mouth and talk stupid and act stupid, you may be physically strong, but after a while, you'll have a certain core of people that'll follow you because they're probably stupid and act dumb too. But other than that, you're not going to have as much success as you would. People will kind of go against you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mike, thanks so much for taking the time and hanging out. And we'll continue this another day, and hopefully we'll this year get a chance to maybe get a little training footage together, as well as we're definitely going to have him on a coaching call or on one of our teleseminar calls where that'll be a little more extensive and more time to talk. And you guys need to look up Mike's stuff. If anybody wants to know how to build up their neck, Mike has the most extensive DVDs, TNT, Total Neck Training, just 1 and 2, got everything you could ever need to know to protect yourself by building up your neck.
If you're football, grappler, hockey, NASCAR, horseback, bull riding, you need to protect your neck, because concussions, especially now, it's been all over the news with
it's
football.
Huge. It's a huge problem, and it's because people aren't getting their, some of it.
It's a shock absorber. It'll help you a little. It doesn't mean it's going to be the be all end all, but it'll help.
But it'll certainly help.
And listen to him, because he's going to give me my start. He's going to give me my nickname, The Machine. He's the guy I learned from way in the beginning that gave me a chance. So pay attention to guys that have laid the foundation for you, because you can have everything you want to. You just got to step out of the box and do it one step at a time.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, brother.
Appreciate that.
Ciao,
guys.